Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 315, and today we're doing battle in a Singleton Daily Rumble. And so, if you yourself are getting ready for the upcoming Runeteran Open, it's going to be in the Singleton format as well. And so prepare to jump into the next few videos of that format with me if you'd like to tag along and help get prepared for that format. And so my initial thought on the format is I have two things to really keep in mind, and the first and foremost is the linear strategies aren't going to be that good. And so if you think to the kind of classic deck building exercise of, okay, I want to follow this single strategy, so I'm going to jam all the cards for that strategy into my deck. And so if you're looking to build around Fiora, then you play 3 copies of Fiora. If you're looking to build around Evelyn, you play 3 copies of Evelyn, right? You don't say, okay, I'm building this Fiora deck today, I'm going to play 1 copy. And so, I think it's fairly easy to see in the face of something like Champions, but that does really weaken a lot of decks. Like, say, I want to play Ramp. Now I can't play all of the good ramp cards. I can still get up to 6 or 7 ramp cards, but I just have to play 4 or 5 bad ones. Or if I want to play something like elites, there's enough elites to go around. You can kind of fill in where you need to. There's still some good unit boosting and stat based gameplay along the way, but you're not going to have this really strong and solidified elites deck here like you're seeing in the current format. And so it does place a little bit more credence, a little bit more value on cards that are just good on their own. And so instead of, say, building around Fiora, I might look to, say, play Swain. Swain is just a big stat monster. He's fairly easy to level. And if something goes wrong with your Swain-based strategy, whether or not you just don't draw him or you don't deal enough damage, he's still a pretty reasonable card. To where if you look at, say, someone like Fiora, or probably a better example would be, say, Evelyn, as to where if you don't draw all the husks, then Evelyn is going to kind of fail. And since we can't play all of the husk cards to their full quantity, her chances to fail are much greater. And so we're going to keep that in mind with our deck, try and look towards just more of a good card strategy and kind of assume that's what our opponents are going to be doing as well. And then the next thing is I want to play Aatrox. I feel like Aatrox really fills in a lot of the gaps in this format as to where all of the equipment cards are good early and good late. And so if something goes wrong over the course of the game, you should be just kind of forced in to having a pretty reasonable early game and a pretty reasonable late game just by the inclusion of all of the equipment in your deck. The second thing is you have that guaranteed way to just be drawing Aatrox. And so if we are looking to play an Aatrox-based strategy with all the equipment, and then we can just naturally draw the champion, then that gives him a little bit of a built-in advantage in this format where it will be much harder to pick him up if we just had to naturally draw him. And so the next piece of that equation is with the same idea. I'm looking to play Kayn. Kayn is a little bit different than Aatrox in the sense that, yes, he does get to draw out of your deck naturally. That's a fantastic addition to the deck, but he doesn't get as many good cards to search him out of the deck as he used to. Actually trying to hit that 4 cultist mark might be something that's just impossible. And so we do have a large collection of cultists in our deck. I'm not entirely sold on wanting to go down that path, but that's what we're out here exploring. Last but not least, we are including Demacia for Vayne and some of the equipment from Card Hands strategy thing, whatever that's called, the tumbles of the world, putting the equipments into play cheaper. Just so many concepts and strategies tie in well with Aatrox and Vayne. That was a big deck there for a while. Aatrox, Kayn, and Vayne have all played in various decks together along the course of the way, but looking to have strikes out of Demacia and tying that in with some of the strike abilities that you get from Kayn, and then some of the equipment synergies you get along the way. It all just ties together quite nicely. And so that's what we're going to be looking to battle with. To bring up the champions, we're only playing 5. We're, of course, playing Aatrox, Vayne, and Kayn. We mentioned those. We also have Fiora and Quinn in the mix here. Both of those are just high-valued champions. They're both really excited to be in these decks completely chock full of equipment, and they tend to just be better than the units in their spaces. And so I was initially also including Lucian. I don't think he's that necessary, though. I have a little bit more challenging of a time getting excited about Lucian. In terms of the equipment, we are playing Aatrox, so we're going to be in an equipment-centric deck. We're playing 9 of the 10. We're playing all of the equipment except for the Shadow Isles one. We aren't playing the Darken Halberd, kill off your own unit for +2/+2. I just don't think that we're going to have enough combos for it. In terms of the spells, we have all of the strikes for the most part. I think we might have left 1 or 2 out, but this is a pretty strong interactivity package coming out of Demacia between the single combat, the Cataclysm, the Fish Fight, the Furious Wielder, and the Concerted Strike. That gives us 5 pretty high-quality strike spells, along with some decent interactivity along the way with the Ranger's Resolve, the Momentous Choice, and the Catch, and then the Expanse's Protection to help protect one of our more expensive late-game plays. Pause for cat and come back in. Last but not least, in terms of the units, we do want to be keeping our units cheap. The way that the equipment go, you tend to not be able to play a bunch of 5 and 6 drops and also attach equipment to them, and so a pretty fairly low to the ground curve here. We've got 4 1-drops, 3 2-drops, looks like 3 3s, and then 3 4s. The things to call out here, we are playing all of the cultist units except for the elusive one, and then we are playing Tiana at the top end. I've been playing a lot of Freylord Ramp here in the past few days, and I've just been really impressed and really surprised with the strength of Tiana. I feel like she's probably been good enough to be playing and constructed all along. We just haven't really noticed, given the strength of the 4-cost rallies and then being presented with the 8-cost champion strength. Now that all of the rallies have been nerfed a little bit, I think it's starting to come a little bit more visible and apparent that Tiana probably had a place in constructed, but was just competing with such exceptionally strong cards that she didn't make the cut. So we have that 1 copy of her here as well. And so that's the deck. That's what we'll be doing battle with today. Let's go ahead and enter the gauntlet. I'm pretty sure my deck is legal. I checked it before I started talking about the deck. I wasn't entirely certain you'd be able to play 2 Runeterran champions as your factions, but no problems there. We're ready to go. Let's see what turns up. And so yeah, I'm interested in this kind of idea. I could also see myself, in pretty short order, just kind of moving away from Kayn, maybe looking towards Varus. I think Varus has a lot of potential here as well. Just that same idea, you could draw him out of the deck, but if you're not getting to play all the copies of the 1-cost combat trick, then it makes it a little more challenging to pick him up. But looks like the opponent had the same idea here. He's got Varus teamed up with Shurima, didn't go for a 3rd faction. And here, let's jump on in. We can hang on to Keeper of the Box, looking for some cheaper plays, see what we can do in the early game. Ooh, just had to spray a cat with some water. We're good. We're back in action now. she keeps trying to sit on my feet, and I gotta get rid of that. I can't let that happen. And so, gotta stop the video on occasion, spray the cat with some water, and then get right back to it. All right, well, kind of lame opponent having a fearsome unit, but I think we still want to be getting this attack in. Look at this monster of a Keeper of the Box. Don't you want to just include this thing in all of your Kaisa decks now? See that? Dude had like 4 keywords on the first turn. Not bad, my dude, not bad. Alright, so what are we gonna do here? I assume that next turn we're most certainly gonna want to play a Ranger Knight Defector and load it up with an equipment, and so we have to have a 2-bank if that's gonna be the idea, or we can say like play Valor, load it up with the Darkened Staff, and then potentially get something there. I'm not really excited about that angle, and so I'm just gonna bank up the mana here. We'll save Valor for a little bit later. So what kind of defector do we want to go for? We can get a double card draw off of the Darkened Harpoon, or we could have looked to just get a bunch of units out of the Darkened Fan. Now that he's included Renekton, we're going to have to come up with a new decision here in that, do we want to just trade our Ranger Knight with the Renekton, or do we want to hook him out of combat with a Blinding Assault? And it's tough. I think I'm fine to just kind of like recoup the mana cost here with the Darkened Staff, and then we can roll from there. See if he goes for the trade. This is pretty bad if we attack and then he just has a combat trick. Or something like that. That's a bit of a pain point. We also drew our Aatrox, which is kind of meh. Not really excited about the Aatrox already being in hand. But we'll do our best. Oh, this Renekton's getting right on track to flipping. We can make the second Ranger Knight Defector attack. Renekton can get his block, and then he's going to most certainly be getting those upgrades. I mean, that's tough. And maybe we just shouldn't have attacked in the first place. He's going to do the same thing. I don't think we can risk him flipping again. Let's just slow it down for just a minute. So he's tapping pretty low on mana here. I think Fiora should be safe. She should discourage him from attacking with this other stuff. And then if he's going to say Ruthless Predator with the Renekton, that's fine. We're just really worried about Renekton getting plus health, which this is good. He hits for a pretty good chunk of damage, but we can heal all that back pretty quickly. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, Renekton is... He is meaty in the stats. Meaty in the stats. We'll have to try and deal with that. She got something, anything for us, deck. What's she gonna turn up? I think we just go for the momentous choice. Like, we're pretty stuck on this next turn going with the Blinding Assault plus Darken Harpoon into Renekton. I think we're gonna need the combat trick just to make sure we're being a little bit safe. Oh, this cat. Go away. It's so annoying. I do not want a cat sitting on my feet. I don't think that's too big of an ask. Alright, let's see what happens with this one. It's a little scary. He's got a lot of opportunity to interact with what we're doing here. I'm mainly just like worried about Quicksand. Quicksand would be the big problem coming out of this deck. But there we go. We get our third unique equipment on the board. Don't get to draw our Aatrox out of our deck. That's kind of dumb, right? You're right, it is. So we got a momentous choice now. So we'll go up to 5 attack on the bird, get to -2, which will take it to 3 attack, and then 3 attack should take down the 2 tough. Right? Did I math that well? Go bust, you did it. Alright, maybe we can recover a little bit now. It's almost that time to start dropping in the Darken. That's one of the things I've really excited about for the Darken, in the sense that, right, this game has gone downhill a little bit. We haven't drawn a ton of really useful stuff, but yeah, I mean, we got all these 8 and 9 and 10 drops in our deck just by naturally trying to play the Aatrox theme, and so I'm pretty cool with it. Ooh, a nice Expanse's Protection. That's a pretty close to perfect draw here if we're going to look to drop Aatrox this turn and then start playing 8 drops next turn. Making sure that we have something to do with this remaining 2 spell mana. It's a pretty big deal. He gets to bring back Renekton. Nothing we can do about that, but he doesn't have the hooks at the moment, I don't think. More than happy to just trade Aatrox for Renekton as well. Are you too big for that? He does look a little too big for that. Alright, we'll see what we can do next turn. Seems a little greedy getting in front of him. Like, our blocks aren't going to be that good, since if we throw, say, the Bakai in front of them, it doesn't do anything, since he's already at +3 attack for the round. So what can we do here? What's the Darkened Staff even turn into? You spend spell mana, grant me impact a bunch of times, but you're still a 7/9. Alright. Then I'm not opposed to getting the Darken Fan back in our hand. This triple summon with the lifesteal thing could be pretty strong on our next turn. when we're trying to get in front of Renekton. But I think we're okay. We just need a little bit of time here, right? And everything should turn around. The fan costs 9. I mean, we could World Ender. What if we say World Ender, take all of the stats? We can still drop Giral on the board because he costs 5. And then next turn we can look to start to get the rest of the crew on board. It also gives us this 10-10 Aatrox to throw in front of Renekton if we need to. Is that where we'd rather be? And it doesn't seem terrible. Bring some Oblivion out here. You're just ready to attack now, aren't you, Aatrox? Jeez, I forgot what a massive amount of stats this guy has. He's got to block him with something, too. I mean, I guess, yeah, his block can't be the Devout. It either has to be the Ranger Defector or the Renekton here. Okay. Gain a little bit of health along the way. Feels pretty good. Definitely glad to be attacking with Aatrox here. Just helps push us further and further away from like a complete disaster of a Renekton turn, outright killing us. Right? If he has a Ruthless Predator or something, I know he already played it, but if he has something like Ruthless Predator to hook into the Bakai, having this extra health is a pretty big deal. We can just take this, right? There's no way for them to strike us. Alright, now let's start getting stuff on the board. On board with Striatu. Whoever else these other dum-dums are could come down as well, but we have the big Fearsome and the Darken Harpoon. That should probably be good, since his only blocker for it at the moment is Renekton. Looks like we're throwing down the GG moments. Bring in a little bit of this. All right, man, we turned that one around. I thought that game was done for. We messed up the messed up the early game in the face of this Renekton, but really turned it around here towards the end. Good job, team. This Spirit Fire is not enough. Only get him for 25 instead of 33. Aight. Fine. GG. Okay. Not a bad day. Victory to us. Feels good, man. Even when we're just kind of naturally drawing our Aatrox unintentionally and still having him being able to pop off there. Pretty cool. All right, well, let's see what kind of dumb Seraphine deck we're up against. I think we probably just hang on to this whole hand. I'm fine with the Fleet Feather Tracker into Darken Harp. He's probably going to have kills for it, but it's a good start. We have high quality equipment for our cheap plays here. I think this is fine. Let's try to pop off with this. Might want to look to Darken Aegis, our Fleet Feather Tracker, next turn. I just have to assume there's just a infinite amount of 1 damage pings coming out of this opposing deck. So I'll feel a little bit safer with the bird having the tough and the extra health. We did pick up our 3rd equipment, so we're getting pretty close to picking up Aatrox. Not a bad set of card advantage. Formula. Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to draw cards, I'm going to bring out the aggro monsters, right? Here comes the +2 attack. The Bone Splitter coming at you. Aggro team coming through. The Champion Strength. It's kind of interesting. How do we feel about this Victor? It gets us in this spot to where you got to start to consider if you want to say Darken Harp, the Fleet Feather Tracker. I think we could probably just switch it up. See if we can't get the takedown onto Victor next turn. We don't need to be too aggressive otherwise. Like, we could still play Vayne, I guess, but I'm mainly interested in seeing if... we should probably just take the kill, right? It was a bummer. I wanted to do cool stuff, man. Trying to take that away from us. Get a hush at the end of the day. All right. Fine, dude. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop Chiral here. We don't need to be in a rush to get this Vayne on the board. And taking down Victor should be pretty important here. And so if he's going to have removal spells, he should need to play it beforehand, right? So I think we can be fairly safe. Did you pick up +2 attack? He did. Unfortunate. Try it this way. Nice. Still get the full board. Pretty cool. Where are the powder kegs at? That's what I'm expecting to see out of this dumb deck. You see this Bilgewater Targon PNZ number? Like, oh boy, kind of powder kegs are you playing today? So here we don't have any combat tricks, and I think we're probably just gonna play Champion Strength next turn, right? And so on a 7-mana turn, we need a 2-bank. So if we look to play Vayne and Buru Cultist, that gives us, maximum units that we can use to try and champion strength with. It's a little scary with this Zoe on the board now. Like, it's going to give him opportunity to. It's going to give him the opportunity to say, pick up Crescent Strike. And our board's not bad as it is. Alright. We haven't walked away from it just yet. We've still got all the mana if we need to. But it doesn't feel that strong here. And I have to wonder, because on the previous turn he didn't play any removal spells on our Fleet Feather Tracker. I'm curious if he just doesn't have the removal in hand that's capable of stopping this thing. Because, I mean, getting all these extra strikes in with these Darken equipment really adds up in terms of just blasting them with the Whirlwinder. So we could potentially look at that as our angle here. Maybe I'm on board with that. The problem to dropping Aatrox is if he then has a removal spell for our little bird. Aatrox doesn't really attack into Vi very well. Kind of just want to come in with these challengers. All right, give it a turn. Rip Vayne. All right. All the removals coming through. Oh, just a double trouble. Okay. It's like, oh no, he's gonna have the burn spells on us. Maybe not. Maybe not. Pretty good collection of hooks that we got here. And, I mean, he hasn't played anything to try and challenge this bird up to this point. He did just play Aftershock onto Vayne for whatever reason as well. And so, I mean, I like to think the bird is safe. He's taken a very, very non-aggressive stance on this board. He's giving up all of his dudes. Much intrigue, I tell you. Much intrigue. So I'm kind of curious now if we can't get in this space to where we're just, say, dropping Aatrox. Right, I'm fine with this. And then we could, say, look to tumble a Darkened Fan onto the Keeper of the Box just to get that extra unit out and running on the board. It does have the Challenger now for one of our birds, but I think that's okay. And then we're just going to look to World Ender next turn. Bad we didn't have any scouts out here. That's how you really pop off with that tumble, but seems like we're in a pretty overwhelming space, right? Not bad, Twisted Fate. That clears out the 2/1 health units. He has the hook into the Keeper of the Box, but nothing to stop us from playing World Ender next turn. Let's wait till the combat's done, and then we'll put the ballista on whatever he doesn't kill. Is that how we even want to do it? We're close to killing him with the elusive, like. Right when this transforms and generates a bunch of units, when I play or transform, summon 1 lifesteal, 1 challenger, and me elusive. All right, let's give it a shot. All right, bring that World Ender. Stinky Wump right off the top. Are you serious? Put a copy of me in the enemy deck. More like put a copy of me right on top of it. What a joke. Alright, let's see where that gets us. Even if he has the removal spell right now for the Buru Cultist with the flipped Aatrox on the board, we get pretty close to legal with the Naganika. Has a nice overwhelm component to it here to tie in with Aatrox. The Hexbliterator. Kind of lame, dude. Kind of lame. He's only got 3 mana at this point with Aatrox being lethal as it is. I think we'll go with the Naganika. Give us a couple extra points of overwhelm now if he puts the zap in front of Aatrox. He doesn't have the stats for the other dude. Alright, GG.
I am freed of this madness.
Not bad, not bad. And so I think that kind of explains what I'm trying to say with this format, right? I would say to a degree, he's a little bit counting on being a Seraphine deck, and cards like Seraphine make sense that you have to play Singleton, you have to play so many just like weird and rando cards that the potential for her abilities to pop off are there, but you only get 1 copy of Seraphine, and she can be pretty tough to to just find. You only have that one copy and then no other way to really like search for her. So if you need the Seraphine to pull off your combos, you can struggle a little bit. So with this fairly straightforward start, right? We've got the Cultist into the Keeper into the Darkened Lodestone. Nice 6 mana spend on the first 3 turns of the game. I dig it. Next turn. I'll show you how to play the 2-cost spells, my dude. We got the Ambitious Cultist ready to pop off. That's the way it works. Thinking hard on letting us attack here. I can't imagine if you have a removal spell, you don't point it at the Keeper. Wow. Do your thing, friend. Do your thing. Heavy metal. Gotcha. Makes sense. Feels like it's still a pretty decent spot, though. High note. Nice. I got a card. You got a card. Feels fun for everyone. I was trying to eyeball the way where we get to do we get to do the 2 and a 1, a 2 on the tentacle, 1 on the Pharaoh's Fancier, but that's not the way it works. We're not going to get that that 6 new spells this game.
Deal me in.
Steve coming through with the red card. Right. Bit of a bummer. I think we're fine to just play this Quinn for value, though. We're not gonna we're not gonna have like an easy path to her getting flipped. We can stop here, see if we can't get a scout attack with her next turn. We have the gems for some heal. We have the high note. I think, well, maybe the thing that would be useful is on this next turn, if we look to say gem her up to 3 health and then Cataclysm the Twisted Fate so that we get to pick up the rally. I'm not certain if I feel like that's a good enough rally, though. Maybe it is. Like, he's at a pretty low life total here. We have to pick up our friend Kayn, his first adventure in these battles. That's just got to be too good, right? If we get this this attack into Twisted Fate, that's our 3rd. And then if we get to attack again, that's going to be the 4th. The flip attack will hook the tentacle out of combat. All of our friends get to come into battle. I'm worried now that we didn't gem, right? We had an extra gem that we could have put onto the Quinn. Bummer. Definite bummer. All right. Well, we'll continue on. We'll continue forward. Get him with this big surprise Tiana on the next turn. That's where the next little bit of bust magic is going to be coming from. just a little bit of the magic, you know. Not a lot, just a taste. The Pale Cascade. All the fancy tools. What's this? Mystic Shot. Okay. Alright, dude. Well, you played a lot of removal spells. Taking note. Check that guy out, though. It feels so good sending in this Aatrox. Again, man, we get to draw all of our good cards. He's got to do it the hard way. Let's deal with this fucking pink box, Riot. You get this pink box off the screen. All right, we're gonna blast him with Tiana, right? Nobody's gonna see the Tiana coming, and it's gonna be beautiful. Maybe not now. Such a delightful card to have access to. All right. Well, we'll throw a little bit of Constructed at him. We've been playing a lot of Anakas in Constructed these days as well. Fucking A. Got Vi? All right. At least she's not gonna flip, I guess. Make a sad noise. Set me up with a sad noise, please. This Twisted Fate's getting scary close to flipping. See if we can get our attacks in. I don't know if I can find my unit behind this rando pink box on the screen. Come on, Riot. Come on. Bringing out the song spinner. Okay. Should be a pretty good spot for us to be in. But yeah, I think this matchup has shown exactly why I wanted to play Aatrox. All of these equipment are so good. We're into this just rando grind fest where all of our early game cards are extremely good late. We've both drawn Kayn and Aatrox, and so the big build-around components of our deck we've just naturally got. Pretty happy with all this. This has gone nice. Like, as far as whatever his deck's trying to do with the Seraphine and all that, he's had to put in a lot of work, and he hasn't really, achieved it. He's got one copy of Seraphine, and so just so much easier when you're able to spray another cat with water. She's learning lessons. She doesn't want to be sprayed. Get out of there. Get. All right, he did stuff. What just happened? He doesn't have the... We just win with this, right? No reason to attack with... Well, this guy has Ephemeral. Might as well attack with it. Oh, we don't have any equipped units, do we? That's lame. That's lame. I thought we were going to have a equipped unit and get the 5 damage from Pra plus the 1 damage from the Cultist. Okay. I guess we are going to have to do this with Tiana. Guess so. Guess so. This is the part where we'll really get him. This is the rage inducer. Nobody has the Tiana respect. Look how mad she is. This is probably how our opponent's going to look. This is how opponent's going to feel. Why are you so mad, Tiana? Our house has bled for this realm. You'll not throw away this family's honor for a few tricks of light. Who is that, Lux? Is this some Lux child out here trying to cast the magical spells? Tiana says no. We fight with our fists, not with our brains. All right. GG. On to the next one. Get this cat out of here. Go. Go. All right. If that's your first bust video, we gotta deal with the cats on occasion, and so delightful little creatures. We love them. Sometimes she's a little annoying. I don't want a cat sitting on my feet, man. That's annoying as shit. They get all sweaty. I don't want to be sweaty. All right, we'll play this guy 3rd time in a row. Maybe we just 3-0 him and completely knock him out of the event. That can't feel good. That can't feel good for Bojack. I almost want to just let this one slide, but what a crushing defeat if you're able to drop the trifecta. Wonder if we shouldn't have played the Cultist now that we're gonna, right? If we should have just held it, miss out on that 2 damage, we can Broadwing next turn and then move on with the equipments from there. We don't get meaningful hooks with the Broadwing when it doesn't have Challenger, and we don't have a ton of 1-drops to pick up after the fact here. Sure. Jailbreak's always a good hook off the coral creatures. Nice collection of bros out here. Alright, let's see what we can do. Get our big stats on board, looking to do this double scout attack with the the Ranger Knight Defector on the next round. Exciting stuff.
Why are you here?
Get him with the old Darken Harpoon. Level up that World Ender as soon as possible. Alright. I saw the Zoe and I was like, oh man, I bet the Zoe's already at like 7. she's been seeing a lot of spells between the coral creatures and friends. Where are we at? We're going to be looking to add... I think we want to just kind of play on curve here, right? So next turn we're going to look to Darken Fan, Darken Harpoon. That's going to give us the 3 unique equipment that we need to draw Aatrox, and then we can play Aatrox on turn 6. Look to be in a pretty powerful spot from there. There is the Darken Harp that we did just pick up, but I think we could probably play this one for value. Like, this is a little bit different than playing against the Renekton Bro. With the Renekton Bro getting to have much more powerful combats off of that generated unit. Now I'm deciding if we want to play the harp. It's like I don't so much care about the value coming out of Darken Harpoon. It's just like when we're a few turns down the road, like we're gonna prefer to have Striatu on board. Maybe it's okay. He probably shouldn't have a follow-up unit, right? But it's like I just envision that whenever we have Aatrox on the board and we're just playing the Darken Harpoon, we're just going to outright win the game. Baros is probably better than Striatu at this point.
A piercing bolt. Go on, shake my hand.
Hey, what's that?
What's this at? Zoe's up to 6. Realistic chance we just get zapped by some weirdo elusive play. Quinn probably has something to say about that, but I want my Darken Harp back now now that we've just picked up Quinn.
Nothing gets between me and my mark.
All right, let's see what we can do. He needs an answer to our bird first and foremost. I'm gonna drop the Darkened Lodestone onto the Valor directly, assuming he doesn't just kill it right away. I don't want it just dying to some 1 damage ping. To where if we wait until next turn to put the Lodestone onto Quinn, it's going to be a little bit slower. Okay, never mind. Now that he's got Aphelios, everything changes.
The brighter my light, the stronger your shadow.
See if he just passes. I have to assume he's going to want to play the Aphelios. He had to have picked up +3 damage, right? No way he didn't pick up the 3 damage weapon. Yeah. Oh shit, he hits the cultist. Is Zoe going to just flip anyways? Interesting. Interesting. I guess it's not that challenging to have like a burst spell or something in hand, but I supremely surprised he let us hang on to the bird. He's got to have a spell. Like, it's very easy for his deck to do, but still getting the Zoe off of the board's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm.
This is progress. Wanna arm wrestle?
This is also not what you want to be doing once you see your Zoe flip, right? You don't want to have this giant board and then just be like, oops, I gotta trade everyone away. So we'll get 2 down with this attack, right? The Zoe will fall, the Gearhead will fall. We can then play Aatrox and reevaluate, reassess. World Enders at 13? Are you serious? I would have sworn we struck with like 100 units this game. That's crazy. That's crazy. Really? Normally costs 15, right? We only struck twice? Apparently so. I don't know, fam. I don't know if those mathematics add up. Who does Naganika hit? Does this hit the strongest? So we can try and take down Aphelios? Okay. Where you at? Where you at? Get down here. The Seraphine flip. I'm a little worried now, man. That was... I just assumed that we were gonna play the Aatrox and be like, here's the World Ender at 6. You know, that felt like a pretty reasonable number to me for what was about to happen. I had no idea it was gonna be at 13. Alright, well, maybe we can do something about this Seraphine before she gets out of hand. Not a bad pickup in single combat. We also have the Huntress that we can attach the Darken Harp to. So do we have interest in just going ahead and playing the Unforgiven Cold? Really help protect our Naga Nika here? I think this is fine. It's going to tie in with our... Like, we're going to have to use the Huntress to hook in after this, and so having it be weaker is good. Having our Naga Nika stick around is good. I think this is fine.
Keep up, keep up.
Everybody just got elusive.
She took my love. I'll take her heart.
Okay.
Rain.
Starting to slip away. I think we're still okay, though. Ooh, he blocks? That's surprising to me. I guess he's probably just counting on this Seraphine to do all the work, and he just needs to not die at this point. Another elusive generator in the Mariner. The thing to take note of is we can look to put the Darkened Blade on the Naganika to have it heal back a bunch of its damage. If we can make it that far. The Badger Bear might have been a really ideal draw for us just to help prevent this. I mean, I guess he only has 9 damage on board, but you do have to worry when they start dropping all this stuff.
Come on, let's hit it.
Let's hit it.
Amp slide, let's go.
All right. Brings in the moon glows. I'm okay with that. He's really low on the mana now, so we should be pretty safe from here. Needs an Ezreal or something to bring us down. So we destroyed the Darkened Blade. Alright. We still have our Aatrox on board. I mean, that's the big thing. Oh, he doesn't strike anything, though? Because he became Aatrox? Is that why? Interesting. Not what I expected to happen. Okay, let's see if we can't just end this. Between Aatrox being a 9 attack, we can get Ibaros on the board. No idea telling how big this guy is, but as it stands, he only has 1 unit in the Seraphine that could potentially block it. So... might be able to get something going with him. Is that preferred to just dropping Striatu? I mean, he would have to throw the Seraphine in front, but I mean, I really hate that you can't see how big this unit is. It's a bit of an annoyance. Alright, we'll skip on it. This is our ephemeral, right? We'll keep the Pra behind. Ugh. That was a lot nastier of a round than I really cared to admit. But keep powering through, I guess. Dang. Getting all the values out of here. Alright, well, let's drop Ibaros. 14-14. We got the sizing on him now. I figured out how big he is. Can he kill us here? Doesn't look like it. So we're gonna lose Aatrox. Abaros is gonna stick around. And then he doesn't have that many good hooks. Okay, let's just pass. Now we can follow up with our challengers and hook the Seraphine out of combat.
Save your worlds. We speak with blades.
All right, let's give this one a try. How many more ways can we go about this?
Strike
Oh my god.
burn.
All right, dude. All right.
Everything I've worked for.
Insane.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
They will never die.
Well, we'll figure out another way to try and do this one, I guess. This double troll gift onto the Seraphine has been absolute bonkers this game. It's insane how much that's just saved him from everything that we've done. Sure. He's down to one card in hand. Still needs to do quite a bit of work in terms of damage. But his Seraphine hook will now kill Zolani. What do we even have left? We got a Darkened Staff and a Darkened Spear. Whew, man.
I'm always up for a round or two. Blue as the serpentine.
It's just such a bad rally for the turn, dropping the Tiana. Hate it so much. Maybe we'll get away with one here, though. Maybe he'll try and hook Zolani with like a Zap Spray Fin and keep Seraphine out of the mix. And then we'll get an additional attack with it when we get to use the catch.
Amp slide, let's go.
Sure. That's probably gonna be enough to take us down. We'll see. We still have some pretty high-powered draws in here, but we've gotten to the point to where it's just not going to be effective anymore. All right, GG. So that's tough. I feel like we navigated that one well, but we just slipped up in there a little bit. We just had the correct combinations of everything at every turn, and I think that speaks leagues to this matchup. I feel like this he's decent at the game, right? He's sitting at 65 LP Masters, and I as playing against someone that's probably right around equal skill level, I feel like we're going to win that match like 75% of the time, and so that makes me feel pretty good about running into dumb shit like that. I feel like the Seraphine decks are going to be something that we'll definitely see out and about, and to have that navigate so well. Like, to him have Seraphine on the board for literally like 7 turns and barely be able to navigate this stuff, and then getting all those doubles along the way. Oh wow, I guess we're playing 4th time. Let's see if we can't navigate that 75% win rate here. Jesus. But there were a couple things we messed up along the way in that game too, and so I feel like it had potential to go better. All right, good at this turn 1 Zoe though. Something cool? Nope. Need to pick up some equipments. Let's see how our friend Loyal Badger Bear does here. Blocking Badger Bear, my bad. Not supposed to have the Badger Bears anymore these days, right? You got the attack in. Okay. Sad noise. Try this again. Give us something. Give us one of those equipments everybody's talking about. The Defector's just not that interesting if he doesn't have the scout. So let's just lead. Go ahead and send everybody in. I don't want him being able to protect that Zoe, and then we can just play the Defector after the fact here. Maybe we'll pick up an equipment sooner rather than later. Okay. Nope. just a stone, nothing to do, huh? Stone, nothing.
Songs just make you feel like you can do anything.
All right. How about now? Widowed Huntress with no equipment. Okay.
She took my love.
I guess I shouldn't have made those comments about having 75% win rates when you the game says, "Oh, you're gonna talk like that, huh?" And say you only got 9 equipment in your deck. You're not gonna draw any of them by 25% of your deck. Oh my god, brutal.
I've got nothing. You've got to go.
Brutal. All right, the Pharaoh's Fancier's Monster Harpoon.
Squirrel pin broke.
What you got for us, game? Oh my god, it's an equipment. Hey, I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think we could pick up one of those.
But our stuff did it.
And an aloof. Okay.
All things can be analyzed.
A little annoying losing out on the champion strength, but it's not the end of the world by any means. Pretty terrible draw on the Salt and Stitches, though. And a bird.
Love you first.
Alright. Alright, dude. Blows up our equipment along the way. Not bad, not bad. Definitely, I'm just going to drop Tiana here. We have all this mana that we need to spend, and if we pick up a Darken next turn, we want to be able to play it. We got this massive pile of equipment in our deck, right? We gotta get them onto the board as soon as they're drawn.
Piltover Enforcer on the scene.
V stands for violence.
Discipline.
Dang. Let's just wait. We got the Unforgiven Cold in hand. There's no reason to to just spew out here and get really involved with this Vi. We can play like a million cards to get around Vi if we have to, and so I just don't want to risk it at this point. So would we rather catch or would we rather Expanse's Protection? I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna want to like keep our Expanse's Protection. So let's go with the catch. See how this goes. Hopefully this wasn't too greedy. We could have just Cataclysm directly into Vi, but I think this is fine. The harsh winds of a zone. Okay. Where did that come from? Oh, it came off the fan club president. Okay. Oh boy, something else coming in. Why would he do that? Why would he play the thing before the turn was over? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Get an Aatrox, huh? Not a single strike off the equipment. Phew, it's bonkers. All right, let's see what the Song Spitter hits. I'm pretty dejected about this game. This one's been pretty dumb. Just literal, absolute everything has gone wrong this game. Yeah, why not? Why not? At least we get the weapon back after this. Whew. Man. I didn't know it was possible for more things to go wrong than went in this one. Oh, why not? Well, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. I should have known more could have gone wrong. Oh my gosh. Insane.
There's the 1-2 punch.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I guess that's what we get for saying let's see how this goes in terms of it being a 75% win rate match. I still stand by that. I think that what we ran into in those two games is we had one game to where I miscalculated what the world ender was going to be at. It just felt like with the way that the game had gone that we had gotten like 6 or 7 strikes in, and I thought we were going to be able to play the world ender in another card. And then that last game was absurd. Anytime you're playing a deck with 9 equipment and you make it until turn 7 of the game before you draw your first one on the back of a full mulligan, it is what it is. And it was like a little bit of the double-edged sword as well, as to where not only did we not draw equipment, we drew all of our cards that need equipment to be activated. And so it's like we just had a shitty a shitty Night Ranger defector and then a shitty Challenger dude, and then we just naturally drew Aatrox. I mean, I guess that's what we get for saying that we should have a 75% win rate against something, but those last 2 games are certainly why nothing is a unwinnable or completely 100% matchup. Just you run into dumb shit like that on occasion, you just got to suck it up and move on. All right, next battle. See if we can play some more dumb Seraphine stuff. I hope you like that match. There's no way around that, right, though? I mean, it kind of is what it is if you're going to jump into a tournament and get paired against the same guy 4 times in a row. I'm not certain how much of the matchmaking stuff goes into this in terms of, is there just a collection of competitive players diving into this thing, or does it have more matchmaking stuff tied into it? And I'm not entirely opposed to the idea of matchmaking tied into tournaments. They fixed it pretty nicely in Magic, I think, as to where in tournaments you have a rank like you do a ladder rank, and so you'll be bronze, silver, masters, iron, gold, whatever, in terms of a ladder rank, but then it also has a separate one for tournaments, and that does a little bit more in terms of keeping you in line with playing against the same quality kind of people. And curious if there'll be something like that for Runeterra. I mean, I like the idea of having additional ladders to climb through. I'm just I don't know if Runeterra has the player base to do that. Not in terms of quality. The Runeterra player base is high quality. It's the quantity of players you need to really split them apart like that. All right, though. Let's get some more of these battles going. Got a good hook with the Fleet Feather Tracker. Happy enough to send it in front of the Petricite Broadwing. We can get our Darkened Staff loaded onto the Shadowblade Fanatic. And now if opponent just passes, we have to say, okay, are we going to get Troll Chanted here? No, we're not. We're not getting Troll Chanted in this space. And so this attack is fine. He can't block our thing profitably with the Broadwing, right? We do 5 and then he only does 2 damage back. So he's not going to get a kill with this thing. We maybe should have equipped the Darkened Thrall. I was looking at the Darkened Thrall and wanting to put the Harpoon on it, and then put the Bloodletters onto a different unit. But we gotta wait and see how these units break out. Okay. That's fine. Bring the hooks onto the Fanatic. Sure. Give us a little bit of extra mana. Braum out here doing his nothingness. Nice effort, Braum. Nice try, dude. You tried to come out here and be relevant.
Pledge to the dark within. The bigger the hunt, the better the trophy.
All right, there's all the champions, right? We got everybody now. We got our Aatrox, we got our Kayn. Such a different story from that previous game, right? see what happens when you don't just have completely dumb draws.
The child is gone. The killer remains.
Not a bad spot. He's gonna get the unit out of Braum eventually, and that's okay. I'm not too worried about the little Poro coming out. So 1 mana behind now. Limits a bit of our attacks. We can still just hook Shyvana out of combat, but it does leave our Kayn in a bit of a troublesome spot. But it's not that bad when opponent has Braum on the board, right? If we just assume, well, okay, we're gonna just get the Kayn into combat with Braum at some point, get him returned back to our hand. You don't have to worry about that not having access to the heal. I think it's okay.
I'm actually here.
Cytheria. Bringing in the elites, not what I expected to see. Alright, well let's start with the fish fight. That does everything we need our Kayn to do. Takes down the Shyvana, gives us the strike back in hand. We're still playing our fun game of ignore Braum, and then if opponent's going to come in with a flash freeze or whatever, then our Kayn is still protected here. Right, that's fine. So what are we going to bring now? I don't really want to lose out on the Dark and Aegeus. So do we want to play another equipment, or play a dude in the equipment, or just play it as Giral? I'm going to ignore Shyvana. Kind of leaning towards just playing it as Giral, but I mean, maybe we let it go and just look towards Aatrox next turn. Or we could say play Blinding Assault. We can play a bunch of this stuff. I mean, we can Blinding Assault, put the Bloodletters on it, use that as a means to try and hook down Braum. I think I just want the Giral. Do have the Dark and Scythe potential on to the Quinn Bird if we want. All right, our World Ender is at 9. This isn't like that dumb game a couple ones ago to where it shows up at fucking 13. That was ridiculous. We'll see where that gets us on the Giral. If he wants, this is again another one of these spots to where if he wants to flash freeze, then he's gonna have to do stuff in the middle of combat here, right? Or he's gonna have to do it before combat. So we should know that our Giral is pretty safe to come in and attack. Looks pretty good here. Aatrox attack is fine. Could attack with the Dark Enthrall. That would let us draw a card next turn. I don't think we need it. It's just it's just a little bit too much. We already have 1,000,000 cards in our hand. Interesting. Why is he blocking with the combat cook? Just to put the equipment back into his hand? Okay. I guess I'm okay with that. He's okay with this world ending. that's what's about to happen here. I don't think we're going to have time. We have the mana to put a 1-cost equipment on our Buru Cultist, and then we could roll Ender after, but I think combat's going to come too fast here. Hell yeah, 4-3 Abaros. Are you going to grow any? Okay, 15-14, a little bit better. That animation was certainly delayed. All right. Well, let's get some more Darkens on the board. Probably be calling it a day here pretty soon. How big is this guy? We don't play a lot of Balcucks. Coming on board now though, my friend. Get all our Darkened friends on board. Not really the time to be playing Howling Abyss. I think that's his way of saying the GG. All right, not bad. On to the next one. That was weird though, seeing the Cythria come down. I'm curious to how much of the Elites package was actually in that deck. And that's what I'm talking about, like really liking things like Aatrox and not playing linear strategies like Elites. It's just too hard to hit all of the cards. You can still play value cards for sure. Like you can come in and put stuff like the guy that makes 4 Demacias into your deck, but the general Elites package, I don't think you really want to be messing with. Alright, we got the full Cultist package here. We're certainly going to be picking up that Kayn pretty soon. I don't have to decide with the Darkened Fan, though. I'm leaning towards just not playing the Keeper and then putting the Fan onto the Fanatic next turn. He's a much safer attacker.
Yes, a weapon to cut through the shadows.
A weapon to cut through the shadows. Okay. It's taking away our strikes. he says, Bust, your World Ender is going to cost at least 13 this game. No strikes for you, my friend. No equipments for opponent. Not ideal for the other side of the table. And then I was looking to just hook the ambitious cultist out of combat, but doesn't seem as ideal. We are gonna have to just swing in. See where this goes. I mean, we have options with the Cataclysm and the Furious Wielder. It's just the 5 health is a bit of a problem. Now we pick up a Lodestone. Okay. Make a sad noise. Make a minor combat. The Bandle Tree, I love it. I love it. Alright, well there's our Aatrox. I think we can stop there. We can still play Aatrox on the next turn, and now we can Cataclysm off of him. Try and get something big going. Bandle Tree. Okay. $15. Yeah, we only got like 1 strike in? I don't know what's happened to this card, man. They've... Riot's done something to the World Ender. That's a little better. With the bonus onto Aatrox. We can just come in and get all these trades now that we know what we're up against. And then try and drive to the World Tree.
This is Darken power.
Pretty close to lethal. But we can just kind of pivot from this point, right? We can switch to just dropping Darkens. So let's get a cultist. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I did not anticipate overdrawing our Kayn. Didn't need him, I guess. Didn't need him. Sad day. All right, we'll stop there. We should have just replayed our because we're gonna World Ender this turn, right? We should have replayed our Darkened Blade. Now we're a further turn behind on doing that. I think it's okay, but it's not super ideal. If we're gonna be real, we can just we can just blow him up with Cataclysm into Omen Hawk. Maybe that'll be the way we go for the victory path. It's only got 2 mana left at this point. All right, let's try it. That's a good start, right? All right, we got him. Victory achieved. Taking down the Vandal Tree. GG Vivo. See if we can't take down a final battle. Whew. Game number 6. 5 wins, 2 losses. Everyone's at their edge of their seat. I can already tell. I can already tell. See how it goes. See if we can't get paired into the same people over and over again. Vivo says, "Nah, I'm not queuing into that thing. I'm not playing against Aatrox with my Vandal Tree deck." You gotta sit out of that queue for a while, my dude. What do we got? One last opponent, one last shot at greatness. Let's see if we can do it. Did the game just break? Alright, it's making noises and stuff now. Is this the guy we played earlier with the Cythria deck? I don't remember. But I'm just going to mulligan everything away. We could have hung onto the Laurent Protege there, but I feel like I'm kind of like ready for some of the tweaks into this deck, and we just need to get some cheaper units in, and I think we're good to go. And so I just want to be in this space now where I'm just mulliganing for equipment, and I think that's pretty safe. Sweet combos here. We got the Darkened Ballista for our Petricite Broadwing. Look out. Look out.
I'm something of an aspiring dracologist.
Might get to threaten some action with old Fiora here. Maybe. So no other units coming online. I definitely want to get a strike in for the turn. Maybe we just go ahead and drop the Lodestone. This is one of these spots to where it's really common to just ignore the Broadwing and take all the damage. And so if we still have it hanging out, capable of doing a 4 damage single combat, I think that's pretty decent. Getting a win here is fine. Oh, we're riposte. Okay. Still not terrible. Didn't get any real mana advantage out of the play. Would be the big thing for opponent. Now we can get Fiora and Kayn running around.
By my honor, you must die.
pretty sweet combos we have access to if you want to if you want to put some bonus stats onto your Kayn and then return him to your hand. It's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal. We should probably just hold off on the Kayn for the moment. We have some good stuff that we can do with the Elkin and the various equipment and the Lunari cultist healing back our Fiora. I think that's all pretty reasonable. To deal some damage with Fiora, heal her back with the gems, and then threaten lethals onto his other stuff.
For king and country.
King and country. Dang, Garen.
Let them eat souls. Try me.
Well, let's see how this goes. I mean, we can single combat down Garen if we want. I'm not particularly frightened of him at this point, but we have the tools to remove him if needed. I think if we're being real on what's going to happen, we're probably just going to throw Fiora in front of him and call it a day.
True power eclipses.
I don't think we're going to realistically threaten a Fiora flip this game, and that lets us kind of just save the single combat for our Kayn and try and get our Kayn to flip. Oh, draw the Darken Harp though. You gotta stop and reassess after that. The Harp Fiora combo, quite strong. Okay, but I like this. I like how we're still protected here. We got the single combat into Garen if we need to. It's all pretty reasonable. Keep that mana back. I'm not looking to add Aatrox just yet. We could. Like, it's easy to see the Aatrox having the stats to take down the Garen, but I feel like it leaves us in a spot to where we just can't respond. We can't attack. We have to, outside of just having a bunch of stats on the board, we need to be able to use this single combat. And if we want to play the Aatrox, we can't drop the single combat and keep all this stuff going. Now, if opponent's just going to keep passing, I am not opposed to just passing here either. This is a pretty humongous overbank for them. And so it's fine to just let this one go. See what he does. Okay. If we get into the next turn and just drop champion strength, it's not a bad space to be in. RIP Fiora.
Sharp blade, sharp mind.
Interesting. It's like I was a little worried on the previous turn of him just having a him having a big card. Like if he comes at us with a like a Frostbite in the midst of our Fiora hit. It's not particularly strong, but alright, this seems fine. We're gonna have a 11 mana World Ender, so we just need a 2-bank next turn. We're still free to spend 3 mana on this round. That'll let us drop Keeper of the Box. We can put a... I'm leaning towards the Darkened Staff, but maybe we want to get the Ballista on board. It is kind of interesting having the strike abilities tied into having lifesteal on the Keeper of the Box. So might have something with that. Okay.
How can I forget the names of my kin?
All right, friends. Well, the team's ready. Hopefully there's no more strikes. Okay, Badger Bear's fine. Oh, we did get an extra mana with that strike onto Kayn. Could have maybe done something a little different, but I think this is fine. This is okay. We're looking pretty big here. Nice. Let's see, getting that life steal is not bad. Ooh, Gorlith. Ew. Is that bad? Is that bad? We can still just block him, right? Swap my health with... I can't be blocked by enemies with less health than me. Oh, fuck. We just dead? Well, we have to start putting... We have to start trying to put something in front of this. Oh, Jesus. That was... Okay. So the Aatrox has to come in, right? I can't think of a time I've played against Gorlith, but this is okay, right? If he's going to have to block our Aatrox, drops him down to 11. Now, even though we don't have to block it, we'll have enough health to fight through most of this stuff. Oh, that was nasty though, man. That's not the way I intended on that one to go. Alright, back up to 20, shoot that one thing. Now we can take the 11 hit off of Gorlith and not die. But man, that just struck me out of nowhere. I've not had that problem before. How nasty is this gonna be? Three sisters. So we have a lot of tools to strike this thing with, but our units are still gonna fall at the end of the day. You can only hit it for 7 with the concerted strike. I think that's gonna have to be okay. Let's do this. Let's at least strike down a bunch of damage off of this Gorlith. I want to be able to attack with Striatu next turn. So we'll drop in the single combat here, get him reduced in health. Still have to worry about the Radiant Guardian. But we can probably figure something out to get ourselves out in front of it. Probably. Well, it's gonna shrink next turn, right? It's got the +3/+4 on it right now, so it's gonna lose out on a bunch of health. F. Okay. It's not the end of the world. We're not dead. 5/9. It's only 16 in total, so we can still block stuff and be okay. Take us to 3. Alright, well that's scary, fam. We're getting low. Let me read this again. I can't be blocked by enemies with less health than me. Okay, we'll have to keep that in mind as he threatens lethal with this in the upcoming turns. Now I'm looking to Lodestone. We can look to Lodestone and then grow the Striatu. Or we could just drop a Naganika. Having it strike down some of his units is probably the safer angle. And then we haven't used it yet, but we can do the Dark and Blade onto Naganika combo to try and strike down a bunch of his stuff. Feel like we're just getting baited here. Let's see. At least now that the Naganika has 6 attack, it can get in front of Gorlith. All right, I think I feel a little safer now. He's just trying to get a win with an attack next turn, right? Famous last words, I guess. Famous last words. I mean, I think we might have gotten ourselves around this one. Got the free unit and the Fleet Feather Tracker now. And then we have a strike out of the Concerted Strike next turn as well. So this will go on. The Naganika will take down the Enraged Yeti. He's only going to have 4 units. We can try and... Whew. He's only got 2 mana. As long as he doesn't have any more plays, we might be okay. Look at that. Look at that combo. Healing right back up. What a card. What a card. Alright, game says we're not taking any damage. Let's see if we got ourselves out of this. We can't actually block the Gorlith, and so we need those strikes to work. And they did. Whew. Whew. So let's drop Shadowblade Fanatic. The worry now would be some other kind of rally, like him playing another unit and rallying. I think that we got to be pretty safe to get away from that, I think. But now we have the Shadow Fiend in hand should we need it. I think we might have done it. Naganika's going to fight something at the end of combat here now. Let's pass. See what happens. He's currently big enough to take down Trundle. Whew. Are y'all squeezing them cheeks? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for it? This will take him up to 14. Then we can champion strength after this. Let's see what he brings forward. It's gonna be like, and buried in ice. That's gonna be the way our finale's gonna happen here. That guy can't block. Did we do it? Did we do it? Did we get there? Trophies unlocked. Ooh, and we picked up the Unforgiven Cold. I definitely feel safe now. All right, GG. Collect the 6th win. Give me all the trophies and call it a day. And so it's an interesting deck. I have 2 things to say about the format. Number one, just the format itself. I'm fine with coming out here and playing Singleton. If you want to know why Riot did it, they haven't specifically said this, but I assume the reason that they're doing Singleton at the end of the beta instead of best of 3 standard pick and ban is to see how it works when they put a different format in. Not see how it works in terms of let's see how many people play in it. I'm sure they care about that, but I think the big reason they're doing it is for having access to Eternal, right? And so the way that all of the standard open kind of events have gone, they've been that same standard best of 3 format. I think they just want to test and make sure things work when they put in a different format in terms of it loading up and everything. As you hear them like talk about the kind of open format thing they wanted, to where you could just play whatever you wanted between like 30 and 60 cards and all the factions and everything, and it broke the game to some degree. I think that they're wanting to test what happens with a different format within the open gauntlet system, so that when it comes time to run an Eternal one, they know that the thing works and it doesn't just break on a seasonals weekend. And so I'm pretty confident that's why they did it. They haven't said anything about that, but I think that's why Singleton's here. And so to carry on to that, in terms of the rewards, I'm I'm curious how I think about this and how it's going to get tweaked as well, as we're going to have to play some of these Singleton events over the next few days before the Open gets here. I've got, I don't know, 11 badges to go before I completely max out on the pass. And so I'm not certain how I feel about that. I try to, break people down between the level of competitive that you're going to be playing in, right? And so if you're going to be, say, grinding for worlds, that's a different level of competitive that I play at, as to where I'm just hoping to have a little bit of success in these open events and do well in some tournament grinding, but not necessarily be at that upper echelon of gameplay. And for me, this kind of like season pass thing is great. I just feel like it's been kind of whelming, I didn't suspect that it was going to be so easy to close this whole thing out. I don't think the intent is for you to have to come out and just like grind day after day after day after day to complete this thing, but I feel like maybe it's just because we got 100 trophies in the last Open, but it strikes me as, with 17 days left and another big event in there, that without some kind of like spectacular thing to the end of this, it just feels like unlocking these achievements and badges aren't that big of a deal. And so if I want to compare this to, say, like World of Warcraft and unlocking the Grand Marshal title, like unlocking Grand Marshal was a incredible feat, and you kind of really got the feeling that the people that put in like the time, effort, and dedication really kind of deserved that Grand Marshal title. There wasn't a way to unlock it otherwise. Same applied to their arenas. It's like the Ultimate Gladiator, whatever they called it in that. But those titles were like seriously challenging to unlock. And now that kind of like Masters has been opened up to the masses, and it feels like the unlocking of the end of the seasonal badge, it doesn't feel like there's that, hey, look, I did it competitive achievement outside of like a very upper echelon of stuff. And so I wish it was a little bit cleaner in that sense. I'll put it together a little bit better as the beta season ends. I'll do a specific chat on it, but that's my kind of feeling on it. But in terms of this deck we were playing here today, I thought this was fantastic. I really loved the idea of playing Aatrox. I was really happy with the Aatrox and the equipment and loading him up. I was not too impressed with the Kayn half of the equation. I think that what we're going to find in our next Singletons is we're just going to cut the Kayn package out, and then we're just going to look to play maybe Freylord and pick up some of maybe I don't know if I want to go for like the Forge cards or something like that, but I am a little interested in Freylord. I'm also kind of considering Shurima because I do really like having access to things like Rite of Negation, and so we'll see. It's kind of nice, though, I think, if we're looking at like an Aatrox Vayne core, then you can just look at these other factions as just having like a little bit of splashability to it, since we don't need a ton of help because the core is already so strong. And so just being like an Aatrox, Aatrox Vayne deck, like this Aatrox Demacia kind of deck, and then just having a couple of splashes, maybe like one high impact champion, maybe say like Action, with the Rite of Negation and then maybe a Quicksand or something, and then we'd be pretty happy out of the other factions' offerings. I just wasn't real impressed with Kayn. We did manage to draw him out of the deck, I think 3 times, maybe 2, including that time we overdrew him, but he was not a very high impact champion today. But at the end of the day, I was exceptionally happy with the Darken. As we run into these games that are just huge grind fests, they're all so incredibly good. And I think that we're going to be quite happy with them the whole way. Even just kind of considering even playing the even playing the Shadow Isles one now as a means to just have access to that big 10 cost Darken that we maybe play early. That game where we didn't draw any equipment was really painful. So keep that in mind. But not a bad set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too. Because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.